Hello everyone. I hope you all are doing good. So today we are here for our social science class. Today we will be starting with taking up the geography section from the social science book, and we'll be starting with the first chapter of geography, that is size and location of India. So I'll just share the screen with you here. All right. Okay. So from the name itself, I think you have now you have got an understanding about what will be the chapter all about. So the chapter is all about the size. What is the size of India? What is its latitudinal and longitudinal extent? Then where is India located? Its location in the world map. Then who are the neighboring countries of India? So these are the various things, and also definitely more than that we are going to learn in this chapter. So these are basically the very basic things that we'll be getting to know in this chapter. So the first paragraph in this chapter, it just talks about how, it's just an introduction chapter where it says how India, we all know India is an ancient civilization in the world, and how India has developed or progressed in the last 5 decades, be it in the field of agriculture, economy, industry, all right, infrastructural development. So we have come a long way. India has come a long way, and also because of its progress and development, India has contributed significantly in the making of world history. It has very constantly made a very significant contribution in the making of Indian history. So the first subtopic in this chapter, it talks about the location of India, right? Okay, so let's look into it. So so first it talks about the latitudinal and longitudinal extent of India. Now, before talking about latitudinal and longitudinal extent, I hope you remember what is latitude, what are latitudes and longitudes. This you got in your very previous classes in class 6, 7, you have learned about it. Still, I'm repeating that. Latitudes and longitudes both are imaginary lines which run across east and west. Latitudes run from east and west, and longitudes from north to south. In this image here, you can see right here, this one, there's so many lines in the globe on the earth. So from east to west, these are the latitudes, and these dotted lines both are the equator. The one is the equator and the other is the prime meridian, right? All right. So so let's see the latitudinal longitudinal extent. So the latitudinal extent of India is 8 degree 4 minute north and 37 degree 6 minute north, and longitude is 68 degree 7 minute east and 97 degree 25 minute east. So let's see in the map. There is a map given in your book. Can you see this? So this is the extent. This is the extent of India. This is 68 degree 7 minute, 97 degree 25 minute. You can see this. Then in 8 degree 4 minute. So this is the latitudinal and longitudinal extent of India. All right. Now you might ask me a question here, ma'am. Why is it like in the this side is also east, then the right side is also east? Why is it so? You can ask me. There will be a question in your mind definitely. Why this is not west and it is east? Now let me tell you why it is so. I'll just stop this. I'll show you something here. All right. Now this is the world map, and can you see here? This is the from north to south. This 0 degree is known as prime meridian, and from east to west, this 0 degree is known as equator. Now, equator divides the earth into two equal halves, that is the northern hemisphere and the southern hemisphere. And on the other hand, the prime meridian divides the earth into two equal parts, that is the eastern part and the western part. Now, can you see where India is located? India is located in the eastern part and in the northern part. So that means for the India map, whatever latitudes and longitudes we will have, that will fall in east and north. All the latitudes and longitudes will fall in east and in north, because India's location is in this portion of the map. So I think I'm clear to you now why we find only east and north and not south and west, because of this reason, because the location of map of India is in such a place that where the equator divides the earth into northern hemisphere and the prime meridian in the eastern part. Okay, now let's go to the chapter again. All right, now there is another very important latitude known as the Tropic of Cancer, which passes through India, and it divides our country into two equal parts. All right. Now the Tropic of Cancer, it is 23 degree 30-minute north. So you might be asked for location in for map activities. You might be asked to locate the Tropic of Cancer or mark the Tropic of Cancer. All right. So it lies in which one? It lies in 23 degree 30-minute north. That's latitude. All right, and it divides the country into two equal parts. Now to the southeast and southeast of India, there is what? Two important islands. I think we all know about that: Andaman and Nicobar Islands and the Lakshadweep Islands, and also the two important, very important sea, that is the Bay of Bengal and the Arabian Sea. Now let's go down to the map again in the book that we have. Can you see here? To the southeast, we have Bay of Bengal, and to the southwest, we have Arabian Sea. Now, which island falls in Bay of Bengal? It is the Andaman and Nicobar, which is in the Bay of Bengal. And on the other hand, in the Arabian Sea, we have the Lakshadweep. All right. Then, now let's come to the size. What is the size of India? So India's total area is 3.28 million square kilometer. All right. So this is very important for multiple choice or one mark question. You might be asked, what is the area of India? It is 3.28 million square kilometer. Now, what is India's total area? Accounts for about 2.5% of the total geographical area of the world. So, but in the entire world, in the entire geographical the geographical location of India is 2.4%. So this 3.28 million square kilometer. It is the actual area of India's area, and this 2.4% is what? India's position or India's area in the total world. All right, the the total area which it accounts in the entire world. All right. Then from the figure 1.2, it is clear that India is also the 7th largest country of the world. Let's see here how 7th largest. First is Russia in terms of area, 17.09 Russia's 17.09 million square kilometer in that's Russia. That is then followed by Canada, and we have USA, China, Brazil, Australia, and India stands in the 7th position. That is why India is the 7th largest country. Now, let's come to this land boundary. What is the land boundary of India? So, the land boundary of India is about 15,200 kilometers, all right? And the coastline of India, coastline you understand towards the south, that is the coastline. And the length of the coastline is how much? Including Andaman and Nicobar Island and Lakshadweep, the coastline is 7,516.6 kilometers. So, till now we have come across three most important numbers. First one is the area of India, which is 3.28 million square kilometer. Then also we got to know that in geographical area of the world, it only accounts for 2.4%. Then we got to know the India's land boundary. It is 15,200 kilometer, and the coastline length of India, including Andaman and Nicobar and Lakshadweep Island, it is 7,516.6 kilometer. I hope I'm clear till here. Then moving down, India is bounded by fold mountains in the northwest, north, and northeast. We all know that we are in the special northern part. There are many, like we are surrounded by many mountains. All right, that is in the north, northwest, and northeast. That is here, especially in these areas. It is where we are mostly surrounded by mountains. Then south of about 22 degree north latitude, it begins to taper and extends towards the Indian Ocean, dividing it into two seas, Arabian Sea on the west and the Bay of Bengal on the east. Now let's share an image here. Can you, this is the map of Asia, all right? So can you see here towards the south, all right? The the map of India starts tapering, that it's becoming small, it's narrowing down, and it's going and it's pointing towards the Indian Ocean. And it is the Indian Ocean which got divided into two, that is the Arabian Sea on the west and the Bay of Bengal on the east. All right. So from this map image, you can at least have an idea how what is India's location, right? Towards the south, it is tapering, like it's narrowed down. Then it is narrowing towards the Indian Ocean, and this is the Indian Ocean which got divided into two, that is the Arabian Sea in the west and Bay of Bengal in the east. Let's come to the chapter again. Okay, now in the next paragraph it is said that it is important to note that the latitudinal and longitudinal extent of mainland India is 30 degree, but even after that the east-west extent appears to be smaller than the north-south extent. Now, what is said here, we can see when we see the India map, can you see that the east-west is smaller in length than the north and south? The north and south is longer and east and south is smaller. But the difference, the latitudinal and longitudinal difference of both the side is 30 degree, it's equal. But even despite being equal, despite being 30 degree difference, why is it so that the east-west is smaller than the north and south? Now let's see why. I'll show you an image here. That's mainly because the longitudes we know that, the latitudes, we know that it divides the earth into a northern hemisphere and southern hemisphere, right? And that's the latitude, it divides the earth into northern hemisphere and southern hemisphere, and the longitude, it divides the earth into eastern part and western part. All right, now can you see these lines are getting smaller towards the poles? All right, these are not equal, that the length is not same. So that is why the distance between the east and the west is smaller than the north and the south. This longitude, the lengths are the same. It is like, no, it's not getting smaller. All right, but the latitudes, what it is happening, it is getting smaller towards the pole. All right, so because there is this difference in the line, that is why the east-west extent of India is smaller than the north and south extent, or the north and south, the length of north and south is more than the east and south, east and west. All right, now let's come to the chapter again. So this is all about what we have learned here, that despite being 30 degree, equal difference of 30 degree between latitudes and longitudes, the east-west extent appears to be smaller than the north and south extent. You got the reason why, because as we move towards from east and west, as we move towards the poles, the lines get smaller. All right. Then from Gujarat to Arunachal Pradesh, there's a time lag of 2 hours. Now, I think you might have known this before, or this might be also new to you. Being in the same country, there is a time lag. Arunachal Pradesh is 2 hours earlier than Gujarat. Now, why so? Now, if you see in the map, let's go to the map. The location of India, the location of Gujarat and Arunachal is in the extreme point. That is, Gujarat is in the extreme west and Arunachal in the extreme east. And we know sun rises in the east. So Arunachal Pradesh experiences sunrise 2 hours earlier than Gujarat. All right, because of its extreme position, the location of Gujarat in the extreme west and the location of Arunachal Pradesh in the extreme east. That is why there is a time lag of 2 hours between Gujarat and Arunachal Pradesh. Now, we also have a standard meridian. Now, what is standard meridian? Standard meridian is a meridian that is chosen for calculating time. All right. Now if there is no standard meridian, people will get confused. In the same country, we might be having different time in different states. All right. So to avoid that, and also so that there is no confusion with flight timings, railways timings, there has to be a once common timing, right? Thus for that purpose, to calculate a common timing, one single meridian is chosen, that is which is considered as the standard meridian of India, and it is 82 degree 30 minute east. This one, 82 degree 30 minute east, which is considered as the standard meridian of India, and this is used to calculate time. And why this is the standard meridian and how this is chosen? This is a line which is in the middle point, which is the middle line of the extreme west and the east. All right, from both this longitude, the middle longitude is considered as the standard meridian for India. All right, can you see this is in middle, this is the extreme west, and this is east, and in between is this line. So that middle point is taken as the meridian for which time will be calculated for India, and it passes through Mirzapur. And where is Mirzapur? Mirzapur is in UP. All right, so 82 degree 30 minute east is the uh, standard meridian of India, which is used for calculating time for the entire country. Now, it is also said that the latitudinal extent influences the duration of the day and night as we move from south to north. Now, as you can see here in the world map, you can see where is India located. India's southern part is located near this equator. This dotted line, you can see this is the equator. And in equator, what happens? There is the sunlight falls directly. There is direct fall of sunlight. That is, the temperature is high there. So the southern part of India, you can see, is very close to the equator. So what happens? The temperature, there is a difference of day and night as you move from the north, from the south to the north. You can take example of Mangalore itself. We find the temperature is very high here, right? We hardly experience any winter season here. We do not experience. But as you travel to the north, you will find that there is change in climate. There is change in the time duration of day and night. Why? Because as we are moving upwards, we are moving away from the equator, and that is why we see that impact or that influence of the change in the in day and night. All right. Then, okay, so that's all right till here. I hope it is clear. What did we learn till here? Till now, we got to know about the latitudinal, longitudinal extent of India. We got to know about the Tropic of Cancer, which divides India into two equal halves. We got to know about the Indian Ocean, which is divided into two parts. One side is the Bay of Bengal, other one is the Arabian Sea, and the two islands located in those sea, that is in Andaman and Nicobar and the Lakshadweep Island. Then we got to know about the area of India, which is 3.28 million square kilometer. Then we got to know about the land boundary of India, 15,200 kilometer. Then we got to know the length of the coastline of India, which is 7,516.6 kilometer, right? Then we also got to know that there is a time lag of 2 hours between Gujarat and Arunachal Pradesh because of its location in the extreme position, and also both are located in just a minute. And also both the places lies in different longitude. Because of the longitudinal difference also there is this time lag. And also we got to know that despite being 30-degree difference of in the latitude and longitude, the east and south, east west is smaller than the north and south. Why? Because as we can see in the globe, towards the from the equator to as you travel towards the poles, the lines are getting smaller. Because of that, this east west extent is smaller than the north and south. Then also we got to know about 82 degree 30 minute east, which is the standard meridian of India, which is used for calculating time in India. And also we got to know as we travel from south to north, there is an influence in the day and night. Because why? As we are moving away from the equator, there is a difference in the time or in temperature. All right. Example, as we have the southern part of the country, have the days will be longer there than in the northern part of the country. All right. Now let's look into India and the world. So now I will stop this share and I will show you the Asia map. then you will get to understand the location of India in the map of Asia. So it is said that India has a central location between East and West Asia. You can see the location of India is it is located in the middle between East and West Asia. And also India is a southward extension of the Asian continent. And also you can see India is what? It is this is the map of Asia, and India is the southward extension of the map of Asia. Towards the south, towards the south of the map of Asia, there is India located. So it is the southward extension for the map of Asia. Then the Trans-Indian Ocean routes connects the countries of Europe in the west and countries of East Asia. So because and India's location here, it is because of this location and it is located, the southern part is located towards the Indian Ocean. Because of such location, India is able to have connection with the European countries in the west and in the southeastern countries in the east. All right, this side and this side. Then also India is also able to have close contact with West Asia, Africa, Europe from the western coast. Like from the western coast, this is the western coast. So Asia, so Africa, Europe, all these countries, India is able to have a close contact with all these countries this side from the western coast. And in the eastern coast, in the southeast and the eastern coast, India is able to have close connection with the eastern part of Asia. So this side, all right, because of its strategic location here, because towards the Indian Ocean facing towards the Indian Ocean. Maximum of its part is located towards the Indian Ocean, so that is why it is able to have good connection or close connection with the countries located towards its west or located towards the east of Asia. And also we can see India shares the longest coastline with the Indian Ocean. You can see here Indian Ocean is here. No other country shares a longest coastline with the Indian Ocean. And because it is only India who shares the longest coastline with Indian Ocean, it is justified that Indian Ocean is named after the country India. Now, did you understand how did Indian Ocean get its name? Because it is only the country India which shares the longest coastline with the Indian Ocean. All right. I hope I'm clear till here. Okay, now let's move to the next chapter, next page. The next page, this paragraph mainly talks about India's land routes. So it is said that even before the discovery of maritime routes or the sea routes, India had already had land routes that were already there. There were passes like Khyber Pass, Bolan Pass. All right, so these were the passes which were there, mountain passes, and through these passes, foreign travelers have already come into India. Migrants used to come into India, and it was through these land routes that there used to be exchange of ideas and commodities. All right, so it is said here that India's contacts with the world have been continued through the ages. It's been very long that India have had connections with the other parts of the countries. But her relationship to the land routes are older than sea routes. As I already said, sea routes have come much later. Land routes were already there. All right. The various passes across the mountains in the north have provided passages to ancient travelers. As I said, there were these passes, mountain passes, and because of this presence of mountain passes, it facilitated many foreign travelers to come into India. All right, and by coming into India, there was when people comes and goes out, they are taking something from India to their own place. All right, and similarly, India also took many ideas from many other places. So there was exchange of ideas and commodities. The ideas of the Upanishads, Ramayana, stories of Panchatantra, Indian numerals, all have reached in different parts of the world. So various, as I said, various ideas that many countries have taken many ideas from India through these land routes only. And we all know India has always been a very resourceful country, right? Or every country, other country always wanted to have a trade relationship with India because India is so rich in resources, be it in spices, be it in raw materials, any other raw materials or muslin cloth. So, but India still is a very rich country in resources. So because of India being so rich, every country wanted to have established people. Foreigners came to India, foreign travelers came, and they wanted to have trade relationship with India. They took away, they exchanged goods and ideas with India. And also, not only they have not only take, India has not only given to other countries, India has also taken from ideas from other countries. Like, you know, it has a great influence from the Greek sculpture, the buildings and structure, the architectural styles. India has also taken many from other countries. All right. So I think you have understood here. This paragraph, these two paragraphs mainly talks about the how the land routes were existed even before the discovery of the sea routes, and how these land routes have helped in the passage of in providing a passage to people through these mountain passes, and how there was exchange of ideas and commodities. Am I clear? I hope I'm clear till here. Now let's move towards the last part of the chapter, that is India's neighbors. I think even if you do not study this, read this paragraph, we all know who our neighbors, neighboring countries are right? India, Pakistan, Afghanistan, China, Nepal, Myanmar, Bangladesh. So these are our all neighboring countries. So let's see where it is exactly located. And also it is given here India has 28 states and 7 union territories. I think it is not now 7 union territories. 2 more has been added to this figure, so you need to stay updated with the new numbers and figures. All right, so if it's written 7 in the book, do not write 7 in the exam. And also, let's see, India shares its land boundaries with Pakistan and Afghanistan in the northwest, then China, Nepal, and Bhutan in the north, and Myanmar and Bangladesh in the east. So these are our neighboring countries. Apart from these neighboring countries, we also have some neighboring island countries. Now, what are the 2 island countries? The island countries are Sri Lanka and Maldives. You can see here, right? Sri Lanka is our neighboring country, which is an island country, and also we have this Lakshadweep as the Maldives, which is also an island country. So Sri Lanka is separated from India by a narrow strait, which is known as the Park Strait. You can see here, India is separated from India through this Park Strait and the Gulf of Mannar. And while Maldives, it lies towards the south. It lies towards the south of Lakshadweep Island, right? So these are the 2 island countries of India. One is Sri Lanka and the other one is Maldives. So that's all from this chapter. We got to know the neighboring countries of India. Then we got to know the island neighboring countries of India. Then we got to know about the land routes, how it existed even before the maritime routes came, then and how there was exchange of ideas and commodities. Then we got to know about how India stands 7th position as the largest country. Then we got to know about the time lag between Arunachal and Gujarat of 2 hours. We got to know about 82° 30' East Standard Meridian, right? Then we got to know how time changes, or there's a difference in day and night as you travel from south to north, right? Then we got to know about the India's land boundary. We got to know about the coastline of India. So I think you have studied, you have got various informations from this chapter, many new informations from this chapter. I hope this chapter was helpful for you. I will stop this here. This chapter was helpful for you. You were able to understand what is been taught, what is been talked about in this chapter. So that's all from this chapter. Thank you, everyone.